Well, hello again, it's Sheila back with another part of this tutorial. This will be part 4, and I'm doing the sleeve at the moment, and I've casted on 43, 44, 44 stitches, and I've ribbed. The pattern says to rib 19 rows, but I did 13 rows because I think 19 is far too long for a child's cardigan. That's what I do on adult ones. So I've done 13, and on the 14th row I've increased the stitches up to 49, and how I've increased them is, you can see on the pattern, I've casted on 44 stitches. Like I say, it's 19 rows of rib, but I think that's far too long. And on the 14th row, for the third size, you rib 6, work twice into the next stitch, rib 7, and repeat from the start. So every 7th stitch, you increase or knit twice into that stitch until you end up with 49 stitches. And I've done the first 4 rows of the pattern, and I'm going to show you the increasing, how I increase. And for the pattern, it said after the rib, change to size 8 needles, but that's 4mm in and work the pattern. Increase 1 stitch at each end of 5th and every following 7th row until there are 65 stitches on the needle. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to increase in the first stitch. Well, the pattern started off with purl, and the next 2 stitches are knit. So I'm going to knit that stitch, because that'll put a knit at the start. And then I'm going to purl and knit into the back of that next stitch. And that keeps the pattern correct, because I've done a knit, a purl, and then 2 knit. And then I'm going to pattern across the row, which is knit 2 and purl 1. And I will meet you at the end of that row for the other increase. And I'm on to the last 4 stitches, which I'm going to purl 1 and I'm going to increase in the 3rd stitch from the end. So I'm going to knit into the front and into the back. And then this stitch will be purl, and that one will be knit. And that's made the knit 2 there, purl 1, and the increasing stitches are the knit 2. One looks like a purl because of how the increase is, and then the next stitch is a purl, the next one's a knit, and that's keeping the pattern correct on the So the other row now will start with a purl, where before it was starting with a knit. That's it. Hard to think there. That's purl 2, knit 1, purl 2, knit 2, knit 1, sorry, purl 2, knit 1, purl 2, and I will meet you at the end of that row. At the end of that row, it's knit 1, purl 2, knit 1 and purl 1. And that is how you increase, included in the pattern. And the next increase will be on the 7th row. And you keep increasing like that until you have 65 stitches. And then when I get that far, I will come back and show the decreasing. Right, I'm back again with this part of the sleeve. I've knit 13.5 inches from the bottom of the rib up to the to where you start the shaping. And for this shaping on the sleeve, it says, yeah, I'm doing the 3rd size. So you shape the raglan top, and there's so many sizes here that you do this. So for the 3rd size, what I'm doing, I've knit 3, slipped 1, knit 1 past slip stitch over and patterned to the last 5 stitches. I've knit 2 together and knit 3, and then I've done these 1, 2, 3 more rows of straight pattern without doing any decreasing. And then it says for all sizes after that, you do that decreasing on alternate rows until you get to 15 stitches. You're ending with the wrong side row, and you have to mark each end of the last row with a coloured thread and then work 8 more rows in pattern. But I'll show that when I get up to that. But I'm on to the second decreasing. I've done the 4. You can see there where I've slipped the stitch over there and knit 2 together there. And I'm going to mark the end of that. A couple of stitch markers. I think I'll be needing a few more of these, the number of times I'm using them on knitting. But I have to mark where the decreasing started, because we're not casting any stitches off at that on them ends. Get that one in there. So there, I've marked each end there, so I know where the armhole shaping starts. And I'm going to knit 3, slip 1 stitch, knit the next stitch, pass a slip stitch over, and then continue and pattern across the row to the last 5 stitches. And I will meet you when I get up to those last 5 stitches. At my last 5 stitches, 2, 4, 5. So there. I'm going to cast off 2 stitches, well knit 2 stitches together and knit 3. 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to do that on every alternate row. So you have, including the 2 stitches knitted together, you have 4 stitches, which makes the raglan edge. And then the next row, you purl the first 4 stitches. And pattern to the last 4 stitches, which you're going to purl as the same as the first 2. So I will meet you those last 4 stitches, and on to the last 4 stitches. I'm going to purl those 4 stitches, and that's how the shaping is going to go for the sleeve on alternate rows, what I've just shown. And when I get to the top part, I will show you, I'll come back and show you that. But this sleeve, according to the pattern, it says you had to knit to 10.5 inches. I know from experience from my own kids and my grandkids that 10.5 inches is not long enough for a 26-inch cardigan. I normally do between 12 and 13.5 inches, which this one I've actually done is 13.5 inches. And when I did the increasing on it, instead of doing the increasing set every 7th row for the 26 size, but I did it on the 8th row because the sleeve is longer, so there's more rows in between, and I did it on the wrong side on this row, the garter stitch, and that meant when you come to do the next row of the pattern, it was easy to keep the pattern correct on the edge of the cardigan. That was just a little bit tip for anybody that might be following this. So I'll catch up with you later when I get to the top of the sleeve. Now that's my sleeve completely finished, and well, I said I've decreased the stitches up to here where the markers are until I had 15 stitches left, and then I've knit for 8 more rows straight from there. And the reason we do that is we have these markers in here, and these are the cast off stitches on one of the fronts, and the cast off stitches here on the back. And the reason we do those, it makes like a saddle stitch. So when we come to stitch it on, we stitch the seam here, and this part here from where the markers are is stitched across there like that. The same with this piece here, the pieces are together like that, and then those parts, the straight parts where the markers are, so that the sleeve comes up and over the top of the shoulder like that. You'll be able to see better, I'll show it better when it's actually the part stitched on, but that's the sleeve finished anyway. I just have to finish the other parts, and then I'll be on to the neck and the button and buttonhole bands, and I'll show you that later. So give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you'd like to see more. So bye for now.